Are you struggling with creating video content for your business, side hustle, or YouTube channel? Wave Video is here to help. It's the platform I recommend the most to small business marketers because it's a full suite of tools: video recorder, editor, easy to use templates, screen capturing, live streaming, GIFs, video to email, and believe it or not, even more. With Wave Video, you can easily create professional-looking videos for your website, social media, or ad campaigns in just minutes. Wave Video's intuitive drag-and-drop editor lets you add text, music, and animations to your videos, making them truly stand out from the crowd. So why wait? Sign up for Wave Video today and start creating videos that capture your audience's attention and drive results for your business. Tap the link in the episode description to get 10% off any paid plan. Wave Video. Create better video content in less time. Welcome to the Marketing Clarity Podcast, the show that has a crystal ball and is here to tell you should probably get that mole checked out. It's probably nothing, but let's just be safe. On this episode, I am bringing you my 2023 digital marketing and content predictions. Yeah, it's January 11th as I record this. It's still not too late, right? I've been able to read some of those tea leaves, and really, I've put together 5 predictions. Again, across the worlds of digital marketing and content creation. And I want to share them with you because they will impact your world, and how much or how little you decide to deal with them is totally up to you. And of course, as a marketing coach, I'm here to help small business marketers, solopreneurs, and content creators navigate stuff like this on a regular basis. And that starts with my Marketing Clarity Guide. You can learn more about all of my programs, getmarketingclarity.com. Okay, so let's start with my first 2023 digital marketing and content prediction. And it is, drum roll please, it's that you will need to prioritize short form vertical video. You know, I don't want to sound like the old man in the room, but I don't know. I've for the longest time fought vertical video. It's stupid. I know. You know, it's like I lived so many years where people were recording with their phone vertical, and you just want to go over and gently take their hand and turn the phone sideways because platforms just did not work well with vertical video. Now, that's not new this year. I mean, the last 4 years, platforms have become increasingly improved with dealing with vertical video. But it's almost now, if not is now, the norm. It used to be the norm was like, okay, turn your phone, for those of you, turn on its side and shoot it so that it is the more, I'd say, standard, more known, more used, horizontal HD format, aspect ratio. But now it's flipped on its ear. The norm is, vertical or square, and standard aspect ratio of 16:9, that's the rectangle, is kind of old news. You don't see it that much anymore, with the exception, obviously, of YouTube. But I want to bring this up. I bring up YouTube very intentionally. Obviously, when I'm talking vertical video, what probably comes to mind for you is TikTok, Instagram. But this is, along with this prediction, my first prediction that you need to prioritize, or you're going to see more of a growth of short form vertical video, you should not sleep on YouTube Shorts. I know it's probably the last thing that you look at, if you even look at them, but I have a feeling that this is going to be a year where YouTube and Google make a significant investment into the YouTube Shorts platform. And if you don't know what YouTube Shorts is, it's essentially YouTube's TikTok, if you will. It's their vertical video format. And when you have the YouTube app, you can watch them very specifically inside of there, also on your phone, that kind of thing. So again, I stress that you don't sleep on YouTube Shorts. Okay, my second prediction for 2023 is that AI, artificial intelligence, will make content creation easier, but not necessarily better. So a couple episodes back, if you haven't listened to it, I highly recommend you do. I had a guest, Kayla Knob, as a guest, and we talked about AI copywriting tools, specifically OpenAI. ChatGPT has made a lot of noise recently, and I personally use Jasper, which I really enjoy. It's paid; it's not free. So, that's why a lot of people are using the OpenAI and ChatGPT, but love it. So go back and listen to that episode. But the thing about AI tools now is it's not just about copywriting, right? They can, generate whole blogs. They can create images now. They can answer questions, okay? And they are evolving. They're going to become self-aware, potentially. This is not a prediction for 2023, but you know what? Let's go ahead and get it on tape just in case. Cyberdyne Systems will go online, and, then we're going to have a problem on our hands. But let's, I guess, put that on the shelf right now. I think there is a downside of AI tools like this, content creation tools, it's going to make content creation easier, more accessible to you if you are not a copywriter, if you are not a logo maker or a graphics creator. And that's a good thing, okay? But we're also going to run this risk of, with this mass accessibility, with great power comes great responsibility. How much of this content is going to be authentic? How much are we going to start running into duplicated content all across the web that's generated by these AI tools? So I think that it's still, when you use an AI tool to create content, you absolutely still need to add your, I'll say, personal touch, your voice, your brand, your input, your expertise, your opinions. It needs to be supplemented with those items to make it truly worthwhile and to make it stick out. Because if everyone's just creating AI content, nothing's really going to be authentic. And if you're creating content that's not authentic and putting it out there, then what value is it actually when we're talking about your marketing, right? If you're putting stuff out there that you don't either believe in, you don't understand, then when, let's say you even sign up a client from that, what's going to happen there, right? It's not going to be helpful. Now, the other downside I would say around AI tools, content tools, is that it's going to affect freelancers. So if you're out there and you are a freelance or contractor who creates logos or graphics or is a copywriter, that kind of thing, you could be affected by this. It could hit you hard. So this is where I tell you that you need to embrace these tools, okay? You need to understand how they work. You need to understand their shortcomings. You need to understand your own value and what differentiates you from a artificial intelligence service, or how you supplement that, right? Don't just shove your head in the sand and pretend like they don't exist, right? Don't be the horse and buggy maker. I don't know if you make horses, but the horse-drawn carriage maker in the era of the automobile, and just be like, oh, that's a fad. It's not. So you need to jump in and start using these tools, start figuring out how you can fold them in to your business and your services. And again, the key differentiator. And if this is something that you struggle with, or you are going to struggle with, or you're thinking about it right now, you're like, how the hell am I going to do that? It's this type of thing that my Marketing Clarity Guide is designed to help you navigate. So go get marketingclarity.com, go there, see everything that's included in my Marketing Clarity Guide. I'd love to work with you, but I can work with you to help navigate some of those areas. My third prediction is that SEO is going to be transformed in 2023. Now, I feel like that's kind of a easy prediction, I suppose. You could literally make that prediction every year because SEO is just such a moving target, right? There's just so many, particularly this last year, Google made an unprecedented amount of updates to their search platform. I mean, like dwarfs the number from previous years. So many updates to Google. Google is still king. Now, we're seeing, though, coming in March of this year, that Bing is going to incorporate ChatGPT, which is, again, that AI tool from OpenAI, which is invested heavily in by Microsoft, and Microsoft owns Bing also, to the tune of $1 billion, I think, Microsoft invests in the OpenAI research group, which created ChatGPT. But the thing about, again, we talked about AI in my last prediction, but it's going to make its way and affect SEO also, because you're going to have more information conceivably out there. But here's the thing, even by their own admittance, OpenAI said that, well, it creates, when you ask it a question, when you ask AI a question right now, it still generates a good amount of misinformation. And the thing about it that is kind of scary is I think it almost makes it more believable, because it's like you're asking a friend. You know, I'm not saying you make friends with your robots. I mean, maybe you should, because again, we got to welcome our artificial intelligent robot overlords. But you ask it and it gives you answers in a conversational, almost like, oh yeah, like what's the biggest mammal? And it may come back with, oh, well, the biggest mammal in the world is a gray elephant, and the gray elephant lives in Africa, and blah 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 blah, right? And you're like, oh, okay, that's a lot of information. It must be true. Well, the problem is that it's not. Actually, I don't know if that fact is true. It was just an example, but it gives, the way it presents its answers can be, I think, very deceiving versus, okay, a Google where it gives you a list of links, which is what AI would like poo-poo. They'd be like, oh yeah, we don't give you just a list of links for you to figure out and navigate. We give you the answer. But the problem is when you don't give the right answer, and the problem is how and who determines the right answer. I mean, if we're asking 2 + 2, that's easy. But for these other more nuanced things, how does AI navigate that answer versus Google, or at least the traditional SEO, we understand where it says, okay, it uses a lot of signals and it will give you kind of a list based on hundreds of signals, but you still kind of have to navigate through it and maybe find your truth, but it gets you infinitely closer. Whereas OpenAI is like, oh yeah, well, here's the answer. But what if that answer is not true? So I think this is going to be a really, really interesting year when it comes to how truth and accuracy is deciphered through new signals. When I say signals, again, there's hundreds of factors. I have a boot camp inside my Marketing Clarity community that does I do a breakdown of the SEO foundation fundamentals. So if this is kind of going a little over your head, I break it down super easy. Again, if you go to getmarketingclarity.com, you can join my free community, check out that boot camp. It's free. But signals are things like, who clicks on it, who links to it, how long are people on the page, so on and so forth. Those may need to be evolved this year, right? So I think it's going to be a very interesting year for SEO. My fourth prediction is, an easy prediction because it's just more like reiterating what's going to actually happen or what's been stated is going to happen by Meta. And that prediction is that we are going to be getting a new Instagram algorithm. And what they are doing, when I say they, I mean Meta, is going to be doing is they're getting beaten up by TikTok. They're getting murdered by TikTok, right? I mean, TikTok is siphoning away users, audience, watch, eyeballs, ears, everything. This has been a hell of a year, or 2022 was a hell of a year for TikTok. It's scary as hell to Meta, and by extension to YouTube and Google, that kind of thing. But Meta, formerly, the way they would solve these problems is just to acquire the company. And that does not seem to be in the cards for them. So when that doesn't work for them, they go to option 2, which is let's just try to outright copy them, and then we'll squash them because we have a bigger user base. I don't know how much longer that strategy is going to work as users flock away from the Meta platforms of Facebook and Instagram. But Meta is making the Facebook, Instagram experience a lot more blurrier, where when you share content on one, it goes to the other. I don't love that, honestly. I kind of long for the days where Instagram was actually just about photos, but perhaps that's a discussion for a different day. But Meta has announced that they are going to make and update the IG Instagram algorithm significantly, so that it's going to be more akin to TikTok. Now, if you have not been on TikTok, let me tell you just how it differs. TikTok's algorithm is baller. It is amazing. And it's actually kind of a little bit scary just how smart it gets with predictively putting content in front of you that it thinks that you're going to like. I mean, it's scary how well it does. Okay. And I think a big difference with TikTok versus an IG is that TikTok puts content in front of you for people who you don't follow, right? It's not limited to that. It has a friends, like a people you follow feed, but its main feed is content that may or may not be people you follow. But it puts in what it thinks you would like based on your behaviors and the people you follow. And it is so easy to go down a TikTok rabbit hole. I compare it to what used to be, and kind of still is, like Pinterest. You can easily find yourself wasting a whole afternoon looking up air fryer recipes on Pinterest, which, by the way, I have been doing that recently because I just got a new air fryer. So that's part of my life. But I'm going to end up jumping into TikTok and looking at air fryer recipes. And then inevitably, I'm going to have no shortage of air fryer content served up to me, even if I don't follow a single air fryer account. P.S. If you have a good air fryer recipe, feel free to send it to me. I'm on the socials at Ross Hero. Love to learn about it. So that is my fourth prediction. We're going to get a new Instagram algorithm that is going to be less about only people you follow, and then the ones that the content that makes its way into your feed is usually an ad if it's not from someone you follow. That's going to change. And it's going to be a lot more like TikTok and a lot more predictive, which can be a very good thing for your business. And I say this because you may not have a lot of people following your business account, but you operate your business Instagram account or, in a particular sphere where ideally you're talking about, whatever it is you do, the services you provide, that your expertise, that kind of thing. So you may not just have a big sphere of influence by followers, but if and when, probably when, again, IG makes this update, all of a sudden you are going to have a much improved chance and opportunity to be in front of people who either because they have said they are interested in your business service or have done behavior, things on the app that would lead Meta to say, hey, I think this person, this user is going to be interested in this business. You're going to have a much better chance for discoverability. And so I actually see this as very exciting. And so we'll see what and how exactly this algorithm changes, but I am 98% certain it's coming in 2023. My last prediction is about TikTok. Now, interestingly enough, for all my previous four, I feel like TikTok has made its way in there a little bit, which just, I think, feeds into why it had to get its own category, that in 2023, we're going to see a significant TikTok expansion. And, if you've been hesitant about getting on TikTok, I get it. There is something you need to understand, though, for those of you that are out there and still think that TikTok is still just a lip sync platform, which I don't know how you could think that anymore, but you need to understand that 40% of people on TikTok are over 30. And a lot of them aren't creating content, but they are lurkers. They're consumers of content. And that's okay if not everyone is creating, but you have this giant platform where people are consuming. That's a good thing, which is why we've actually seen such a meteoric rise of TikTok even this year. But there is a really big part of this, and why I made my prediction to say that TikTok there'll be expansion, that it will expand. I put an asterisk at the end of it, and that asterisk is, will the app survive? This is a very, very real concern because there have been a increasing chatter from Capitol Hill about TikTok as a legitimate privacy, security, data threat from China. And it's not necessarily all just boogeyman. TikTok itself came out and said, yeah, data, like user location data and things like that, and contact data, yes, it is actually accessible by, an arm, a branch of Chinese government. They access it, right, through ByteDance, which is the parent company. They admitted that. Now, for many people who are on TikTok, that doesn't particularly scare them. But, you have to weigh your own comfort with that as a user. Okay. But this is a real concern that, okay, as TikTok expands, how much louder will that noise get? So part of that expansion also is about TikTok becoming a new viable search engine to find out how to do stuff, right? I mean, I know if I need to find out how to do stuff, I go to YouTube still. But I'm going to tell you, TikTok is a damn close second and on the rise. And it's a great tool because you get it fast. Like YouTube, great for the long form. TikTok is like, okay, I'm going to get it in like 3 minutes or less. Okay. Which is, I mean, that could be ideal, right? And that's also why it's so scary to YouTube also, right? It's a incredibly powerful new search engine. And they have recently upped. You used to only be able to use 300 characters in the description when you posted a TikTok, but they blew that up to 2,200 characters now, which means TikTok is going to be getting a lot more context around what is in that video. And as I mentioned, their algorithm has been amazing with only 300 characters. So imagine what they're going to be able to do when people start providing up to 2,200 characters about what the video contains. It's going to be huge. But here's the thing, and this is what's really important. I want you to hear this about TikTok. And if you haven't started a TikTok strategy, or you're thinking about it, because of the real risk of TikTok becoming, being shut down, you should be doing videos and able to get what I would call the raw video, so that you can then also utilize it on Reels or Shorts and not have it just locked up in TikTok. Because what I don't want to happen is for you to invest time, money, resources into creating TikTok videos, and then TikTok maybe goes away and you can't do anything with those videos anymore. Okay? Because you need non-watermark. TikTok, when you export it, it'll put the TikTok logo on it. And Reels, Meta, Reels, has said they look for that and they will essentially kind of crush the reach of that content because they want it to be original to their platform. They don't want you to just, even though it's so much easier for you as a small business marketer to just repurpose the same thing. So use a tool like CapCut. Use a tool for those of you that have Adobe Creative Suite. Use Premiere Rush on your phone and make your base video in there so that you have it, and then do all your overlays and stuff in the app. Okay. So I want you to be able to have access to content you create if and when TikTok maybe goes away, right? That's really valuable. Now, if you've already created a ton of TikToks and you're like, crap, I didn't think to do that, allow me to recommend an app. And that app, give me 1 second here, is, please hold. Okay, it's called TickSave. So TickSave, it's an app. I have an iPhone. I don't know if it's on Android. I'm assuming it is. I kind of assume everything that's on iPhone now is on Android also. TickSave, it is, I want to say freemium, but maybe not. I ended up paying for it. It's like $30 or something a year. What TickSave does is you just grab the URL of an existing tick. I don't know if they're called tick. Existing video on TikTok, paste it into TickSave, and it exports the video minus the TikTok watermark. Okay. So it goes into, essentially it seems to go into the base code and pull the source video from a TikTok server or something like that. I'm just guessing, but that's essentially maybe how it works. And you export it HD. It's beautiful. You wouldn't know it any different, and it does not have the TikTok watermarks on it. So certainly a tool if you've already created a bunch and you don't have those source videos. I recommend that you check that app out and use it. So there it is. Those are my 5 digital marketing and content creation predictions for the year 2023. I hope you found this useful. I hope you got some really great instruction and guidance on how these predictions can impact your marketing and what you kind of need to be doing to get out ahead of them. If you did find use in this podcast, of course, I ask that you subscribe, and wherever you listen to this podcast, please, I would love it if you could drop a review, even if it's just a handful of stars or a thumbs up or whatever it is, because that really, really helps this show get discovered by other small business marketers, content creators, solopreneurs, and that's what I'm here to do. I want to help them. I want to help you be a better, smarter marketer. So, until next time, until next episode, I encourage you to keep pedaling.